Well, these past few years have been particularly hard on parents, especially working parents. According to a recent report from McKinsey, 1 in 4 women have considered downshifting their careers or leaving the workforce due to the lack of flexibility at work, housework and caregiving, burdens and burnout. But there are some things you should consider before making that decision. Vanessa McElrath from Wealth Management Partner at ML&R Wealth Management is here to talk a little bit about it. Vanessa, thanks for being with us.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Okay, this is a big topic, and I know a lot of parents, as school is starting to kick back up, are starting to talk about this. So we're talking about women in particular, because I think this burden has fallen heavily on them. What should women consider before maybe stepping back at work?
Sure. I mean, certainly every situation is unique, and the decision to make a career change is deeply personal and individual. But if you are thinking about making a change, or maybe you took a step out and are looking to get back in, there's some small steps that you can take along the way to alleviate some of the concerns. And for starters, I think you can either talk to your employer or potential employer and discuss those concerns. You know, there may be a working arrangement that meets your needs, more flexibility in terms of location of work, hours, more resources, and maybe even more money. You know, right now it's actually a pretty tight labor market, so I think you'll find that employers are generally more willing to be flexible in the right situation with the right candidate.
I've been pretty lucky because I got put on this midday show, in large part because I was kind of faced with this same situation. And I know that financial considerations don't just involve your monthly budget, but a lot about retirement savings. So what should we consider with that?
Right. So first, you really want to take a look at your retirement benefits. You know, if you take a step out of the workforce or maybe go part-time, is that going to reduce your access to benefits? Are you going to be able to continue contributing at the same rate, or are you going to be missing out on some sort of 401k match or profit sharing? Those are things that you want to consider, because women already pre-pandemic generally had less saved for retirement than men. So this is likely going to only widen the gap in terms of retirement benefits. I think you should also take...
I'm sorry, you also talked about Social Security payments too, right? Because that's a longer term consideration.
Exactly. So when you take time out of the workforce or maybe go to work part-time, you may end up accruing less work credits. And really less earnings years means benefits could be reduced down the road. So, you know, you have to consider what's the long-term impact of a current change today.
So just on a personal note, like I know like a lot of women do struggle with this, and I think they worry that they won't be able to get back in the workforce. So what kind of advice do you give them?
My advice is always, you know, make sure that this is something you think about internally, but involve your partner as well. I think you really want to understand your household's current financial situation and budget. What are your kind of short-term and long-term goals, and the pros and cons of your decision. Ultimately, you want to take stock of all of your options, weigh the cost benefit, and then, you know, maybe even engage a third party like a financial planner or financial advisor to help you map out those decisions. Because if they're rooted in your long-term goals, I think that's going to help ensure that you're setting yourself up for the best possible outcomes for you and your family.